welcome back to the channel, everybody. And if you're new here, I'm Sometimes Now, and today we're going to install a Chatterbox X2 Slim P on an oxygen helmet. I already got the one my oxygen SE. I got the communicator already installed on that, and it takes a little some special fasteners to because of the lip. There's a little lip that sticks out, so when you install that, it goes up inside the helmet and it clamps onto the helmet. So the way this sticks out, it does something funky with the mount, and it doesn't clamp onto the helmet strong enough. So I come out with some spacers and some longer screws so it'll mount correctly. If you're getting a Bluetooth like the U-Clears or the Cardo Bold Talks, or some of the ones that stick with the 3M tape on the side of the helmet, then you won't have to bother with this. But if you're actually thinking about getting the Chatterbox style, it actually clamps inside the helmet and the outside and acts as a vise. And the way this lip is kind of messes with that a little bit. So I ordered some stuff offline to make it work, and it works good. So let's get to it. All right. So first thing we got to do is we got to pull the chin curtain liner out. So that you can start pretty much anywhere. It's got a piece connection here, and then there's 4 prongs that go up through the chin that need to be disconnected. So you just got to kind of give them a little tug. They don't come out easily. They just kind of pop them out. Once you get that out, and you got to pop that. See, down inside there's a red clip that'll go back into when we get this. And then there's just, this goes underneath the ridge all the way around. And then we get that, set that aside. Now we want to get to the ear muffs. Set them aside because we got to put our speakers in there. And then we got the rest of this. So while we got this out, we're going to be putting the utility light in there as well. So we'll take this all apart. Alright, so we got the communicator itself. And then this is all the stuff we're going to need. This is the charger and the push to talk button that goes on your handlebars. So we'll set that aside. We don't need that right now. So this is what comes with it. This will go down inside the helmet on the inside. And then we have the 2 screws, which aren't long enough, so we won't need those. And we'll need the wrench. We're not going to use the boom mic, so we'll set that aside. We'll need this, because this is going to stay inside the helmet. We're going to need that. And here's the speakers. Alright, so now once you pull these out, they have a top. So when you go to put them back in, you're going to want to put those in with your lettering facing just up, you know, right side up. So we got to take these apart to get the speakers in. So you just kind of run your fingers around inside and push this out with your fingers like that, and that comes right out. Set that aside. This is your liner, so we'll set that aside. And this is your foam. So this has already pre-cut. So you just got to kind of tear that. You don't need that part. And that'll, see, it's got the little cut right here, so the wire can go out like that. And then you just put this back on and make sure that that comes out the side. And you're going to have to do this procedure with any communicator. The only thing that's going to be different compared to you know, this one is the mount itself, but other than that, you're going to be putting speakers in this. This is what you're going to be doing. This is the pain in the butt part of all of it, is just getting this lined up. There. The little fights you a little bit. You want to make sure you got that setting in that little notch. There, so there's one. And you just do the same thing with the other one. Just run your finger around inside that, and then just kind of use your finger to push it out, just like that. Same thing. Make sure that the cord is coming out the bottom. And this says top. Like that. And we'll just put that back in here. Like I said, this is the funnest part. There. Whew. It can be a son of a gun. There, now the speakers are in there, set and flush. There. Alright, so now you got your two speakers done, installed. So now you're looking for your long wire and your short wire. Your long wire is going to go over to this side because you're going to mount your communicator on your left side. So you're going to mount this in here. And do your other one. You're going to put in here. And then we just got to have this end up. This has to end up over here on this side here because this is where your communicator is going to be. So we just got to tuck these wires inside. And this all snaps in and out. You just kind of unsnap it. You can tuck the wiring down inside. Do the same thing here. Make that hide. And just tuck that back here. And just snap that. There. And this will go into the communicator like that. Alright, so when you're all done, you're going to want to make sure that these wires are tucked below this so they don't come out into your ears. So you got that also, but you want these wires to come up. All three of these wires have to come out in this notch, so when you put your piece down in there, that's where they're going to come out, just like that. So before I run the mic, comes with your little round thing, because then you're going to stick that in here. So we'll set this aside, because this is going to mount in here like that, out of the way, and then it'll be your speaker or your microphone wire. And then you'll put your chin curtain back in. But before we do this, I'm going to pull this light out, or the blank, and put the light in there. Comes with new hardware, comes with a little screwdriver. And my buddy Rick already put these in here. So let's see if this thing works. Those batteries were dead. Alright. That's bright. Okay. So we'll take that and we'll remove the fake one. First thing we're going to do is we'll take this nose guard out so we can get to this, because this has to go straight out. Won't need these screws anymore. There. And then this one already has the Velcro on it for the nose piece. Now when you put this in, make sure, there's a lip right here, a rubber seal. Make sure that this sharp edge goes behind that. Yeah, make sure that goes behind it, because when I first put mine in the first time, half of it was on the outside of the seal and half wasn't, and then I couldn't get the screws in. So make sure that it's in right. Comes with new screws. Alright, so now we got to put the screws in. There. And just make sure that that's sitting in there all the way, and that's sitting underneath the lip, this rubber seal, and it should be good. There it is. Alright, so now that we got the light installed, we got to put the nose piece back in. Got to try to center that light up with the center of this. And it'll slip right in there. There. Now we got to mount. See, this is the piece that has to slip down inside the helmet like this. You can't put it over that, so you got to kind of hang it back a little bit, like right there. All right, so now you look for your red fastener piece, and you slip this down inside there till it's out just above the holes, just like that. So what happens is the issue is when you go to see how much farther, these are supposed to, on a normal helmet, these would come together. There's a gap in here, and you have to fill that with something. So I ended up getting because when you go to tighten it, all it does is want to rock like this. I ended up buying some 3mm spacers so it'll draw tight. Alright, so now we have to mount, now that we got this plate in, slip down there just on the edge, just to the back side of this red fixture tab. This has to be mounted. So these are the longer screws that you have to have for these spacers. These are nylon spacers that I got from McMaster Car. So you have to put that in and slip your spacer over it. I listed the part number and the description if you wanted to get it from McMaster Car, but the description will tell you exactly what the dimensions for the spacers and the screws you'll need, and you can find them online possibly. Once you get one started, you can get the other one started. There. See, now it makes contact with the spacer. And it doesn't want to tip out because it can't draw it. It can't draw it past the spacer, so it stays flush. There. And then if you want, and it just slips on, locks on. Good to go. And if you want it off, you just push this little tab right here. Start to slide it up, and it's off. Now we got to run our microphone first. I put this right up in there like that. Got to find that little notch right there. Just like that. And this will get tucked behind here, and then you just stick your stick that down in there like that. There. And you can just pull this out, put that behind the buttons, the snaps. Alright, so when you're all done, you're going to want to make sure that these wires are tucked below this so they don't come out into your ears. So you got that also, but you want these wires to come up. All three of these wires have to come out in this notch, so when you put your piece down in there, that's where they're going to come out, just like that. They all have to come out right there. So what we'll do is we'll lock this in. This is the fun part. So we'll get that all snapped back in. So you got to grab a hold of the helmet and pull this back as hard as you can, and it'll lock into that red tab. Same with this side. You're going to push that back as much as you can to get it to lock into that tab. All your wires are coming out right there. And then there's a little opening that goes in there. And then this you have to push up in there. Make sure your liner's up in there. Now that we got that, now you look up in there and you see that you got to pull this back quite a ways to get that to lock in. There. Now you just got to get these 3 tabs in, and these sometimes can be fun. So locate where they got to go, and sometimes you got to push them way over. Just like that. Alright, we got all those locked down in. Everything's all tucked in, the chin curtain's tucked in. These are all snapped in. And then we just got to plug this in. And I just run the There. This does, a lot of people complain about this. I noticed online that they don't like how this sticks down like this. They think it should lay flat, but this all sticks. This sticks up because of the padding that's underneath it. See how this sticks up? That's just how it's got that big thick neck padding that goes in there. So that's just how it is. It's all snapped in there. It's just that's how it is when it's got that padding that sticks out. So that's how it goes. All on. What are you doing, Riley? Huh? What are you doing, Riley? What are you doing? Coming to see how I'm doing? Huh? You checking out the helmets? Huh? What are you doing, mister?